Hello, welcome to Rolling Escapades, Season 2, Episode 37, Part 2, the web series in which we play Dungeons & Dragons, put it online for your entertainment. This is Part 2, so you are still here, so you are being entertained. Yay! Part 1 was a trap in a tomb. It was the party attempting to find the body of King Ervalur. God damn it. King Ervalur.
Can't take your king serious.
And removing something from him, which you did successfully. However, there was a voice immediately afterwards, which is kind of foreboding. But we left as you guys were making your way out of the tomb. As you make your way out and you walk into the corridor that you were in before, you will see Fira still there, along with where did I put the names?
Binray, Ulra.
Yeah, whichever one was with you, I can't remember. I'll be honest. You also see King Ervalur, who is no longer purple in coloration. He is now glowing a very soft blue, and whereas before his face was sort of intense, or elements of sort of like closer to things like spectres than things, he now just sort of looks like a translucent blue elf. There's something a bit more serene about him. There seems to be a bit more to him. You are also all able to see on his lower right side, on his torso, even through his ghost form, there is this unpleasant looking dark spot, which lines up with where you just removed that crystal from on his body. So Fira she's standing a little distance away from him, sort of eyeing him strangely. As you guys step out, she acknowledges that you're there, but has not taken her eyes off of the king. And he sort of turns and looks at you, and it's no longer quite... Before, he was sort of just kind of drifting and stirring. He probably just turns. It's almost like he's an actual corporal form. And he's just a normal person who has just turned and looked at you, except they're sort of floating in the air as opposed to walking on the ground. And he turns and he looks at you and goes, "Ah, you removed the item then?"
Yes.
Wonderful. That has been in me for some time.
You did. Shut up, Derek. It seemed to be putting some tentacles into you as well. Shut up, Derek.
Yes, well,
Medieval society would...
34, yes.
something... I knew that something was wrong. I only discovered upon my death, but there was something that had been corrupting me, getting me to do things and make decisions that I wouldn't normally do. Things like building this fortress and ruling cruelly over my people.
What was the wizard's name?
You know, I cannot remember. I have been trying to recall his name, but that is his. I can remember his appearance. I can remember his voice, but I cannot remember his name.
Since it doesn't seem like it's going to devolve into a fight, I am going to revert from being the lion.
Oh yeah, you're a lion.
I wasn't sure if we might end up in another fight, and it seemed safer to remain as a slightly tanky
Yeah,
thing.
no,
Casual line.
that's fair. That's fair.
Casual line.
Casual.
So can you describe him then? If you say you remember his image.
Yes. I mean, he was a mountain dwarf. He was about 4'2" in height. He had a long ginger beard that was braided. He had ginger braided hair. Very, very dark eyes. He had a preference of wearing robes that were sort of purple in colour.
Shocking.
Yes, but they were inlaid with sort of like a light pink decoration. It created this very striking contrast. It was in sort of forms of. There's no real form to them. There was just sort of various swirls across his robes. And he had a focus that was a staff, but the end of the staff it was a crystal sort of embedded in the staff. The staff was around the crystal, and it was this sort of a very dull yellow sort of crystal sitting in the head of the staff.
Huh. The pink bits, did they have like silvery sparkle details on them? I know that's a random question, but there is a reason for it.
Not that I remember, no.
Now that we've removed this unpleasant item from your corpse, is there any other unfinished business that is tethering you to this mortal plane?
Yes, because I have one final task to do. Because I have been put through a test. I was set something to do myself, which now I know what has happened. I was told, but I was not told clearly. He turns to look at Erebus.
Oh, bugger.
Here we go.
I can feel that happening.
Yeah, which your blip is still pointing at him.
Alright, I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
Danger,
And he
danger,
goes.
danger.
You gotta get this boy.
Danger, Will Warburton.
Erebus thread-watched, right?
How do you know that?
I used to serve the same mistress. She is the reason I am what I am and where I am, in a way. When this place was built, there was a door placed that would only open under certain conditions. I was told to
within the fortress.
within the fortress. I was told to. The conditions didn't make sense to me at the time, but they were placed. I was also at this point still very much under, well, the effect of that crystal your friend has. So I don't really remember what was told. I just know that things were set up. And I also know that the architects, the people who actually built and designed the fortress, are dead. As part of my insanity, they were killed and slain, and their bodies deposited so as to not be discovered. But there was this door where I was to let the thread watched through.
Do you know where this door is?
I do. Also, Fira speaks up and goes, yes, no, we found a door sort of in the lower levels that none of us could open. Despite our best efforts, spells weren't working. We couldn't pick the lock. We couldn't. We couldn't dispel anything. Knock didn't do anything. There were all sorts of things that we tried, and we were unable to open the door. We even tried brute force at some point, and it left no mark. So
Were
it
there
would
any
be.
traps on it?
Say again.
Were there any traps on it?
There were no traps. It was just a shut, locked door that we couldn't open. But it sounds like we may be able to see what's on the other side now. It's also at this point, Lucan and Valrona rejoin you guys. They just sort of walk around the corner and are there with you suddenly. And King Ervala sort of turns to them and goes, Lucan, Valrona, it is good to see you again. And you watch as they both... They're still keeping their distance because they still have their weird aura effects. But Lucan specifically is a lot more sort of forthcoming than she has, but she looks a lot friendlier than she has at any point prior to this. And you watch as she, like, not even just like slightly bows, both of them sort of go down on one knee and full on bow before the king.
Why am I not surprised as I look at them?
Elves.
Lucan sort of stands up and then
Same.
backs up a little bit, and then Valrona is like, yes, greetings, King Ervala. It is good to see you, as you should be. Good to see you through to the other side. Well, we have escorted Erebus here, as was our task, and it is now for you to take him through to the chamber and to start him on his next path. And the king says, "Yes, that is my intent." He turns to look at you guys. You look injured and hurt.
Yes, but not gravely.
Nearly gravely.
I do not know what lies on the other side of this door, but I do know it is a series of what is
Lovely
designed as a
fields full of
dungeon.
flowers.
It is not fields full of flowers, I'm afraid. There will be
It's a shame.
various traps or puzzles and things like that to solve. I would recommend that you rest before you head in.
That was our idea too.
I think that is wise.
That is a sensible decision to make. Though are you to rest straight away? I would like to pass on. I do not like being in this form. It is contra to what the mistress teaches, and I do not enjoy it.
Show us where the door is then. We won't go through, we'll just so we know where it is.
Wonderful. I shall lead the way. And he begins leading you through various things. Do any of you shut the doors that you've just come through?
No.
No? Cool.
No.
I put the crystal in the bag.
As we're walking though, I'm going to whisper to... Wow, my name's gone.
Eldaran.
Eldaran, yes. Not good today. Should we mention the voice?
Can't hurt. Your Majesty, we heard a voice once we removed this crystal from your body. And it made it sound as if this was a test precluding to some greater act of evil. Can I attempt to explain like the speech pattern of this person and see if he recognises it as the dwarfs?
Try and replicate it.
The manner of talking does not suit the dwarf I knew. No, he was less. He was more blunt, less sort of play with words.
Then maybe the dwarf that you knew was maybe an acolyte of a greater purpose?
Possibly, maybe.
Anything you can think of suggest that maybe he served two masters?
From what I have discovered since my death, he was the one he served. He was the one that opened the rift. He was the one responsible for placing that crystal within me. If there was someone else, I do not know who they are.
In the morning, I would like to perform a ceremony in your burial tomb. If Erebus and maybe your guardians would join me to make sure we perform the correct rituals for your following, maybe we can cleanse some of this evil from your resting place and bring you true peace.
My body does not need to be placed in a particular place for me to move on, for me to continue on. I do not have a tomb outside of that one ready for me either. I would suggest that my body stays there for the time being. From what I understand, corpses are prone to standing and wandering currently on this island, and
That is my understanding.
my corpse seems to have not done that.
It might just now you've pulled the crystal out of it.
Hopefully not.
Potentially, but even zombies are not exactly the smartest of creatures, but potentially if we were to shut the doors again, it would struggle to make its way out.
True.
Should probably do that.
I would.
Go back and lock the box.
I would appreciate you overseeing a proper burial or with help from my people. But once the island is sorted, once that is dealt with, I would suggest doing that. Currently, all that I would be doing would be adding another corpse to the shambling hordes.
It would be my honour to return and perform such rites.
Okay. By this point, you've been led essentially through to a dungeon level, at which point Fira shows you, and the king show you to just a door in the wall. There's nothing particularly remarkable about it. There's nothing different from this door to any of the other doors that you have seen, except for the fact that apparently no one's been able to open it. And looking at it, there does not seem to be any sort of door handle or door or lock or anything like that. Again, not necessarily that odd. A lot of the doors, on the side that you push them to open, don't have a handle. There's no need for one. But the king sort of floats up to it, and then turns and says, Erebus, if you would join me by the door.
Okay.
Cool. And he begins
As Erebus
muttering.
passes, I use lay on hands.
Okay. How many
I'll
hit
tell
points
you
are
the
you
number
giving
in a
him?
second.
Cool.
It's 15.
Thank you.
So he begins. Excuse me, sorry. Muttering under his breath. No, it doesn't seem to. They're not words that make any sort of sense. It's not a language. It's similar to the kind of mutterings that someone casting a spell would make, but they are. It's longer. It goes on for longer than your normal spell would. And he doesn't seem to be casting a spell. He just does seem to be muttering some sort of phrase. And then he draws one of the swords that he has on his hip, which you've seen before. And as he draws it, you notice that the blade is actually is glowing silver. It looks like a blade. It doesn't look like the sort of thing that a spirit is holding. It looks like he's holding an actual physical blade. And he turns to you, Erebus, and he says, please hold out your arm.
Sure. I
Go.
Yeah, hold out one of my arms.
Wonderful.
Your offhand, hopefully.
Yeah. I win! He reaches out and he against the crook of your elbow slices the blade, which it stings and it hurts, but it doesn't seem to it doesn't do damage, and you don't seem to be bleeding. But you do watch as the blade starts taking on a sort of red sheen to it.
As if there were blood.
Yeah, as if there were blood on it, but it's sort of like the whole blade starts glowing, just slightly having a red sheen, and over time it just sort of intensifies until rather than looking at a silver blade, it is an entirely red blade. And he turns to the door, and as he does so, he strikes the blade into the door and releases his blade.
Yeah.
As he does so, the hilt disappears. There's a sort of flash of red light, and you watch as it's a set of double doors slowly swing towards you, which is wrong because there is no handle. And the blade is no longer there. It is completely gone, and he now just has an empty scabbard on one of his hips. And you are looking at a 10-foot wide staircase that is heading down deeper. It is lit. There are sconces with lit torches, which is interesting because apparently this place has been here for a long time, but there's still lit torches.
Still be a light.
And then he turns to look at you and he says, the way forward is open to you. And then you watch as his form just dissipates and is gone.
Cool.
Let me guess, the blip is now heading downstairs.
Yeah, the blip is heading downstairs.
Wow, that's surprising.
I turn around. Are they still there?
Yeah, Valrona and Lucan are still there. Fira is still there. And Fira's friend, who I can't remember the name of, is still there.
So I assume we're going to have a rest now.
Yes.
Yes, I believe we're going to join the Asimar.
Yes.
Strength in numbers and safety in Derek.
Safety in me?
The look on your face, you seem perplexed.
I'm just thinking, isn't it a good thing Shay didn't actually die fighting that troll? Ross's Island would be really, really screwed.
Luck of the gods, I guess.
Shay, do you want to stand at the back while we go down these stairs?
We're not
'cause
going down here yet.
You seem quite important. No, when we do go down, you seem
Right.
quite important. This whole endeavour. So maybe we should.
Stay in the middle.
Do you have some? Do we have some spare armour lying around? It might make you safer.
I don't think it will.
No.
I mean, we can take.
I mean, I have a set of spare armour. It won't fit in though.
We've got some rope and a barrel, and we can do something.
We'll call that Plan B.
It's what you use for training.
Yeah, B for barrel. It makes complete sense.
Barrel
How about
on
we rest up
forwards.
first? We know the way, so let's rest up because we're all injured, and then we'll head out.
Right. On a completely unrelated question, and I turn to the two Shadar-kai and the Aasimar. Where was the king's personal chambers in this fortress? Have you found it?
You go great.
Fira,
No, his personal chambers. I'm going to go sleep in there. I'm going to sleep like a
Fira.
king for once.
says, no, we did not. And Valrona sort of stops her from speaking and just goes, yes, no, the king's personal chambers are buried beneath the rubble now.
Oh,
That is one of the places that have been separated off from
life's no fun. Okay.
everywhere else.
Well, what was the Asmar lady's name? Gone.
Fira and Inray.
Fira, would you take us back to where you were camped and
Yes, I will lead you back, and we will, well, maybe have a rest that is not interrupted by an angry ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably a fair certainty.
Valrona says, yes, we shall also, we shall keep watch for the night and ensure that you are able to sleep properly. Our job, after you enter the stairs, our job is done. Is finished. We have done what we were sent to do, and following on from this, we shall return home.
I would like to ask her, will we be returning to the fortress after we pass down the stairs?
You will still be in the fortress.
They know no more of this path. They're only here to make us, well, guide us to this door. That's all they know.
I know more. It's just whether or not we were going to be transported somewhere else and not be able to come back.
I know, we were asking. I'm just saying.
Yes, we are. We were just the guides across the island. We were there to ensure that Erebus arrived. And that is what we have done. The next part is, what? It is all known only to the people who built the place you are entering and to the mistress. And as the people who built it are now with the mistress, there is no one who can tell you what to do.
Does this place have a name?
Say that again, the microphone cut out.
Does this place have a name?
Not as far as I'm aware. It is a part that is built beneath the Black Rock fortress. It is something that the Raven Queen wished to have placed here.
Okay.
So we're called it Fort Raven for now then.
How old is this fortress?
This
I can say
fortress,
that.
it is
About
Oh,
80
shut
years?
about 100 or so years.
It's younger.
Yeah, it turned to shape. Your coming has been foretold, my friend.
Shut up, Derek.
You're welcome.
It was fate for him to arrive, so
All rest.
Yes.
Val, am I right in assuming from the what I know of the history of this island that you were one of the king's lords who fought against him? Would that be accurate? How did you know him?
I know him because he was a follower of the Raven Queen before he was corrupted by his advisor and via the crystal that you now have within your possession. We were sent to parley with him when he was a king prior to the fall, and we were his spiritual or religious guides during worship. You'll find many of the peoples that live in this island are worshippers of the Raven Queen. But
Is this place
once he
purgatory
fell,
for her followers?
Say again?
Is this place not just purgatory for her followers? They are not allowed to pass on to the afterlife in peace as they would with their mistress, and they are tortured as the thing she most
They have to
hates.
deal with the thing that she hates.
Yes. Wonder if this was part of the plan.
That's why we're here to fix it.
Yes. I just wonder whether that was devised.
What are we going to do with the crystal?
Try and smash it.
I want to study it.
Two very different responses.
Yes, I think we find out what it is before we do much else. Sorry, my audio is just...
We'll wait for audio to cut that,
We will wait a second.
because we cannot hear you guys, but I think that's what Nathan is fixing.
Yeah, I think so. I can't hear anything either.
Yep. Doopy doopy doo.
Intermission.
Intermission with Sam and Liam.
Really bad webcam.
Sounds just
Can I get a clip of what this is when you actually get the audio from them?
What, that? Yeah, I'll try. Right, there we go, we're back.
There we go, we're back.
The question I asked to get cut out before was, what were you going to do with the crystal?
Smash
Sure.
it.
What were you going to do with the crystal?
I
Take
think
it back to Helix, study it.
find out what it is.
I was going to give it to, if we can't find out what it is, then I'm going to give it to Elia. She'll know what it is.
Don't think we want to
Good
give it to
poker
her
face there, Liam.
Yeah.
Really don't know what you're thinking now.
He's now making
Yeah,
me
she-
paranoid about giving it to Erlisle.
Oh, with a face like that, I think it's the best idea ever.
Hmm.
Cool.
Right.
Do you guys have any other questions for the NPCs? Are you just happy to go off and rest? Anything you want to talk to each other about?
Before we long rest, I say to Feyre that I still have the ability to cast some restoration magic, so I'm going to cast 2 lesser restorations on 2 of the Asimai to see what happens. See
And
if I
I
can help.
will cast a third.
Okay, cool. That does actually remind me, I said last week that the last session that one of them was purple. They wouldn't have been purple because of the lack of colour. They would have just been dark skinned, but whatever. Yeah. The help to move around and help cast restoration magic is greatly appreciated.
Making friends and influencing people. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the bard way.
Okay.
Long rest.
Flex.
So you guys are going to have a long rest. Are you going to have any watches, or are you just going to just rest for as long as you need to rest?
I'm just going to sleep.
Before
I think
waiting.
we're going to
Shadar-kai
rest,
said
because
they
the
were
Shadar-kai, yeah, they said they'd keep watch.
I will still take
Yep.
a watch.
I'm going to take a watch.
yeah,
I don't trust them.
It's not that,
Sorry.
it's just that it's not the best secured place in the world.
Yeah, we're on Hell Death Island.
Yeah. In a beaten out fortress.
Make it easy. I'll take a watch. You take a watch. Shamshir will take a watch, and Icarus will have a watch.
Jobbed.
Because they're not here to say no. So haha.
I like it. Elves, are you staggering your watches? Sorry, not your watches, your sleeps.
Yeah, team elf.
Yes. I'll sit up when Eldaran is doing his
Yeah.
watch.
Okay, so watches, what we're going to do, what? Eldaran, Derek, Shamshir, Icarus?
Sure.
Sure.
Wonderful. Cool. Okay, so you all keep a watch. Let's have you, Eldaran and Aegis, let's have you guys make perception checks. Say again?
19.
19, right.
22.
22, cool. You don't see anything, you don't hear anything. It is, in fact, it is probably the quietest night you have had on this island. You don't hear any weird screeching cries, you don't hear any moans. It is surprisingly quiet. But you do notice Val and Lucan sort of, they're not in the room, but they're patrolling the areas around. You do know, yeah, they are keeping watch. They're making sure you guys are able to sleep, but they're staying outside the range at which their auras will inhibit you. At some point during the night, Eldaran, Valrona does actually make his way over to you, and says, when you come to performing the ceremony for the king's body, I would appreciate it if you were able to find a method to get a message to me. It would be. He was a close friend for a long period of time, and it was not pleasant to see him forced through the undead. It was not pleasant to see him forced to become undead for a period of time. I would like to say bye properly to what he used to be. And I know Lucan would appreciate the same thing.
Such ceremonies are as much for the living as for the dead.
What do you know of the Raven Queen?
Not a vast amount. She seems quite taken with our shade. She hates life after death, and that is most all of what I know.
She is the mistress of death. This is true, but it is sometimes misunderstood. She is not that which brings death. She is not the cause of death. She is not someone like Grumsh or Bane or some of those other gods. She is merely the deity that sees that you reach where you are supposed to be in the afterlife. And she watches over fate. She doesn't bend fate. She just simply watches how the threads wind and weave together, and occasionally she decides that a particular thread is worth watching.
Look slowly over.
And when she finds a thread that she thinks is worth spending her time watching, she will mark it in some way, so that certain of her followers are able to identify this person. Occasionally she will set them a task, whether they realize they are on a task or not. And she will put things in the way to act as guides, but she will also place obstacles that allow a person to prove what their worth is. And the obstacles that she places are the few times in which she will twist fate in a way. She places an obstacle, suddenly there becomes two paths. And she doesn't fully know which one will be taken. And that is part of the... pleasure is the wrong word. She has no concept of pleasure. She experiences through others' memories. Her followers heard that from the mortal plane, material plane, will often make a donation upon their demise of memories of some sort, intense memories of happiness or of grief, and that is how the Raven Queen experiences.
Well, thank you for this greater insight into the mistress, the deity that's taken such an interest in one of my companions.
I can see that you are a follower of another yourself, though I do not know the symbology.
I sort of hold the sign on my shield. This is the symbol of my lady Eldath, the goddess of peace.
Okay.
This is...
Yes, she is not a well-known deity.
No, not so widely, but those that follow her, we are fairly zealous.
That makes sense. You would have to be of a certain zealous nature to be able to follow a goddess of peace, especially when dressed for battle and willing to fight where necessary.
Life is a battle between contradictions.
This is very true. This is very, very true. When did you start worshipping Eldath?
I have always followed Eldath.
Oh, fair enough.
It's a family tradition, one might say.
That makes sense. That might be the source of her power. Then maybe your family is big enough that many of you have risen her to a level of deity.
I was not aware that truly mortals could influence in such a fashion.
Audio went briefly there.
Sorry, I said I wasn't aware that mortals could influence in such a fashion.
Yes. The power of a deity is directly relevant to their number of followers they have.
Yes,
The
yes,
more they-
of course. But
The more someone is
one family could never do such level of devotion as to raise one being to a completely separate level of existence.
depends on the size of the family. I
True.
mean, the Raven Queen used to be mortal, but she was raised to godhood by the Shadar-kai.
Interesting. And now you serve at her side?
Exactly that. We are rewarded for our services. We are given eternal life, and we are faithful servants in all things.
I can understand.
Well, I shall leave you to your watch and to your rest, and I shall return to my patrols. It has been a pleasure speaking with you, Eldaran.
And likewise with you.
Bell gets up and walks off, carries on patrolling. You go to sleep. You wake up Derek. Cool. Derek, you can make a perception check. Aegis, you can make a new perception check because it's a new 2 hours, unless you're going to sleep now.
I was going to go to sleep now.
Okay, you go to sleep. Derek, it's just you.
13.
14?
13.
Cool. 13. Again, you are aware of the absolute silence that there is, the complete lack of weird moans and screeches and howls and all the unpleasant things that you've been experiencing. It's oddly peaceful, but there is still this element of dread. You can still, you can't see it, but you know the rift is just there. It's just outside. But you don't see anything. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Nothing bothers you during your sleep. Sleep during your rest. Did you want to do anything other than just watch?
I didn't hear the voice in the tomb. I didn't hear it for a minute, did I? That wasn't a minute. It only spoke for a few seconds, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they spoke for a minute. I think it was about sort of 30 or so seconds.
So while as Derek's sort of there for 2 hours and everything feels safe, relatively. Everyone else is asleep. The two Shadar-kai are walking around, doing a better job of keeping an eye on things than I am. So Derek spends 2 hours practicing that voice.
Wonderful.
Right.
I will say, make a.
Oh damn! I've got to roll for it.
What is this going to be? What's going to be the best way of learning voice? Voice mimicking.
Performance.
I was thinking performance. I'm trying to think whether I want it to be intelligence space.
Intelligence, yeah.
But I'll just say, make a performance check. Yeah, just make a straight performance check. Make a performance check with advantage, considering the fact that you do have the active feat. It does help you in learning a voice.
Okay.
So if you dedicate 2 hours to it.
Ooh. 22.
Okay, yeah, no, you learn that voice.
Awesome.
You can add that to your repertoire.
Brilliant. And then I wake up Shade and Shamshir, I guess.
Wonderful. Cool. Erebus, at this point you have finished a long rest.
Yep, that's what that's do.
Yeah, so I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Cool. Okay, hold on.
Join Team Corruption. Come on. Come on.
Is that still a disadvantage?
It's a saving throw, not ability check, so no.
Okay. Dice.
Dice are important for this kind of saving throw.
Oh no.
Yeah.
7.
7. That is a fail. So I would like you to add a corruption point.
Am I going to add that?
Put it in like your notes or something along that lines.
Okay.
Then I would like you to roll a d8.
Okay.
What's all madness is
One corruption point. There you go. D8. 6.
6. Wonderful. You are reckless.
So nothing changes.
You've become impulsive in the face of dangerous situations.
Oh.
The first attack made against you in any combat encounter has advantage on the attack roll.
Well.
Oh, it's going to be so hard getting through this thing alive. I've just spent so
Going
many
on
spell
with
slots
the
for
things that
things.
happened so far, so I might as well be reckless.
It's actually appropriate. I like that.
Yeah.
Damn it, Liam.
Hey, that's your road. That's your problem.
Yep. Making my job even harder. Fantastic.
Okay, and then you can roll perception check for your watch.
Which will be disadvantage.
Will be oh no, you've finished. Still disadvantage. You remove 1 level of exhaustion.
So,
Yeah, so you're no longer moving at half speed. It's a disadvantage on ability checks now.
Clearly I'm tired still. 9.
9. Cool. Shamshir got a 16, but your watch is uneventful. Again, you will notice the lack of noise. You will see Valrona and Lucan sort of wandering around, keeping an eye out. Did you want to speak to any of them, interact with anyone?
Nope.
Wonderful. Then the next 2 hours pass without incident. Icarus gets woken up, and at this point, Aegis, you also wake up. As you wake up, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
3.
3. I would like you to roll a D8 and add a corruption point to your character sheet.
That's
4.
like the you picked up.
You got a 4.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You have developed an uncontrollable cough that creeps up every now and then.
Oh.
You have disadvantage on stealth checks.
Nice.
Alright.
That's rough.
Yep.
Rough cough.
Yep. Rough cough.
Coronavirus.
Speaking of,
Liam
Yep.
demonstrated.
Exactly. Yeah. Demonstrating right there. Wonderful. So that's 2 people with 2 and 2 people with 1 and 3 people unaffected
For now.
currently.
Until we all have to make save throws in about 2 seconds, yeah.
Yep. So for this watch, we've got Icarus, Aegis, and Erebus. If you guys want to make perception checks.
Oh, I hate exhaustion.
yes, everyone does.
So,
What'd you get, Erebus?
13.
13. Cool. Icarus got an 18 with disadvantage.
15.
Oh, we all doing
15.
wisdom saves.
No,
No.
Not yet. No, they're doing perception checks now.
Cool.
I failed.
Did either of Aegis or Erebus want to do something over these next 2 hours, or are you just keeping watch?
It takes me 8 hours to brew a healing potion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And a gold.
Say again, sorry?
I was saying it takes 8 hours and gold to make a healing potion, doesn't it?
Yes. It takes a day, I think, actually.
Okay.
But yeah.
Are any of the Aasimar awake?
No, not the ones in this room.
I'm fine then. Oh, I meant
Okay.
the other 2 who guarding the gate and stuff like that.
Well, they're not in the fortress.
Oh, okay. Then yes.
They're out in the actual gatehouse. Okay. So everyone will finish a long rest. You can apply a long rest thing, and then everyone needs to make a wisdom saving throw, apart from the 2 elves.
I think I might have passed.
Ooh!
He passed as well.
Oh.
You really want 3 now, don't you?
That head shake.
Get the +3.
That was either dumb high or really
done
bad.
Methinks he's in trouble.
I think I'm getting a corruption point.
I'm gonna be the only pure one amongst you, you frickin' heretic.
Makes sense.
Go figure that the paladin's the.
The zealot paladin, yeah, he's the
With his
pure.
massive wisdom saving throw bonus.
Yes. +8. Saving throws are the only thing that have kept me alive.
Tis the paladin way.
Yeah. Just not the next ones, please.
Oh
Please,
boy.
no next. I can't
Let me just finish working out what's happened to Icarus,
Oh, red.
Wonderful.
because he's at 3 corruption now.
Oh! Someone's
He beat
beating
you
me!
there.
He's beating me!
Have a tentacle for an arm.
What you need to do
Oh,
jump straight into the pool.
Ooh, that's unpleasant.
Does he try and eat crystal?
So, Icarus has a slight smell of rot around him, as he now has rotten joints. His joints begin to suffer from internal decay and degeneration. He has disadvantage on dexterity ability checks.
Icarus, you stink.
That's also funny because he have an obsession to clean himself.
Yeah.
So he smells
That's
like
why.
It smells like soap and rotten flesh. Super.
He has to get that formaldehyde.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, he failed that
Super trench.
Well, even if he'd had Eldaran's bonus, he failed by 1.
Oh, right.
Would he bend luck on that?
Or potentially he would have
But
done,
would he have
actually.
known he was only missing it by 1?
I think you bend luck.
Actually,
Or is it
it's
before-
also the start of the
It's
day.
Before it's declared.
Mm.
It's also the start of the day. I don't know if he'd want to burn 2 sorcery points the very first thing in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let him be rotten. It's fine.
I will leave it for now because I can ask him if he wants to do it. He can do it.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Okay, now let me roll for Shamshir.
5.
Was it a 5?
Great poker face there.
No, he rolled a 4 with bonuses, including Eldaran, gets him to 10, which is a fail.
Good.
So he has a corruption point as well. So he now has. Let me check. Oh, a scent of decay. He just smells of decay.
Yeah.
He has disadvantage on persuasion
Can't
checks.
Shamshir, you stink as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Right, let me just.
Complaining about other people think it's going to really come back and bite you in the ass in about 2 seconds.
Yep.
And
Because I get to roll a d8 soon as well.
so Pa, your head is now a pickle.
Pickle par.
Pickle Pa.
Disadvantage on persuasion. Nice. Right, and now I'll actually start going through people. So, Eldaran, what did you roll?
21.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. You are not further corrupted. Derek, what did you roll?
20.
20. That's a shame. That's a pass.
Oh no.
I could have not
and
marked him as an
Pa-
ally if that would have helped.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it would be 23 if I if I remember to do things properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remembered all my modifiers. Yeah.
Pa?
9.
9 is a fail, so you have gained a corruption point, and I need you to roll a d8, please.
1. Go on.
You have hallucinations.
Excellent.
Erebus
Everyone smells.
is a ham sandwich.
So
Enjoy your
you have
time.
disadvantage. You have disadvantage on perception checks
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
as your vision is pulled and moved around by random things that are appearing in your highlight.
And the talking, walking ham sandwich.
Yep.
We all managed to get.
I think
corruption.
everyone's rolled now, right? Everyone's rolled. Yeah, everyone's rolled, and it's only Eldaran left without corruption. It's okay, Eldaran. There are still some more days for you to sleep on this island.
Shut up. Purity seals, more purity seals.
Or, you know, lesser restoration.
Okay, so everyone is long rested. What is your plan? You've all been corrupted for the most part. You begin eating, praying, starting to deal with the fact that there are 2 people who are starting to smell of decay and rot.
And why is that pink spot on the wall? That wasn't there before.
You
Do
stupid.
you chase this pink spot?
No, I don't need to. It's just on the wall there.
Huh?
There's a pink spot right there.
Mm.
I don't see anything.
But it's quite clear. Look, it's colour. It's colour. It's the only bit of colour.
I can see the pink. Can anyone smell the cheese and rotten flesh?
Yes.
Yes.
Where?
I point at
Road.
Icarus.
I just want to hit something.
What did you... What? Why does it smell of flesh and feet?
Sorry.
Writing very strangely.
Are we to descend the stairs
Okay,
into
let's
our unknown path?
Follow Shades, no blip.
Let's go through the door of Tiger Blood Sword.
I put on my mage armor.
Blood sword.
Tiger blood sword.
Blood Sword door.
I'll wait to find out if Icarus also casts mage armor.
Yeah.
You can make that decision. Yes.
Fire.
Yeah, this would be. We're all long rested. Fireball! God damn it!
No, that wouldn't have done.
Who's buggered for deck saves? Oh, Icarus is.
Yeah.
I have issues with
So you
stealth
guys-
saves because I've got a cough.
You guys all group yourself up and start make your way towards the door and the stairs.
Do anything else?
Everyone try and keep Erebus alive. Just
Yes.
keep in the middle and everyone like throw yourselves in the way.
Make sure Erebus is in the middle.
He is the mission.
The Fira wants to come with you because she wants to help you complete your task, but she also wants to stay and make sure that none of her men kill each other and fall to corruption and whatnot. And also, she doesn't want to leave them leaders in case you guys don't come back. So she is staying because she is staying. Inray and Uldra will also remain. You do not have any Asimar with you. It is
The
just you
Shadar-kai
guys.
still around.
Okay.
The Shadar-kai is still around in the morning.
want me
What's
to
your
go through the
yeah?
door?
Oh, don't you want to perform your ceremony thing first, quickly? Get that over and done with.
Can I turn to speak to them?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Could you delay your departure just by a day and help these Asimar defend themselves till we are able to return from whence this path takes us?
So the fate that belongs to the Asimar would be their fate. Either they survive for your return or they do not. We are not given the task of playing with fate to an extent anymore. It is entirely down to their ability to survive. We have been away from home for some time, and we both wish to return.
I understand.
We wish you luck in where you go. I am sure that at the end, Erebus, you will enjoy what you are given. The mistress has a gift for you should you succeed. And I look forward to hearing from you, Eldaran, when the time comes.
I shall find a way to contact you.
He's going to be a real Shadar-kai.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, we bid you farewell, and we shall maybe see you again.
One day.
And they both turn around and just start walking off.
He wished to see the burial of his friend and lord. Once the island is clear.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well then.
so you guys make your way to the stairs, and you begin descending your way down and following the stairs, and that is a good time to stop the session and pick up next week to see what is down the stairs for you to enjoy.
What's down the stairs? What's down the stairs?
Every third step's green. Not making this shit up.
That one's a snake.
No, it's a stair. It's just green.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Hopefully this layout isn't too much to follow. It shouldn't be used too often. It is just due down to illness and wanting to reduce the risk of spreading. Go check out our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the Twitch channel, and all that stuff. There are things going on everywhere now. You want to go look at all the things. You want to go look at Patreon. And we will see you next time in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.